Welcome to the Mundus Fractura Law Guide. This week on Law Guide, we will have a brief overview of the first merchant of Deep Port, Mr. Cleetus Cleavus, the well-known merchant and entrepreneur of Deep Port. Cleetus Wampler Cleavus 92, and his lovely lady wife, Maud Gertrude Kirk, of Deep Port 72, have been residents of the region since before the settlement's founding, having come to the area a full 15 years prior to the inauguration of the Western Expansion settlement. Information on the Cleavus' early years is sparse. Cleetus and Maud met during a merchant fair on the island nation of Deep Isla. Cleetus, a purveyor of fine lacquered crab traps, while Maud hawked handmade ledgers bound in fish skin. He was already an eccentric silver-moustached bachelor of 60, with a reputation for his smooth bartering skills. She, a clever bookkeeper, laconic but with a sharp tongue. They married within the year. Their early life together was a tapestry of small ventures, trading smoked mollusk, pearls, distilling vinegar tinctures, and scribing services. Though childless, their home was always busy, filled with ledgers, charms, and visitors who sought their services. Even then, Maud would sometimes stare out into the western reaches of the Great Lake with a distant look, claiming she could hear the bones of the land whispering. Cleetus, of course, saw this not as madness, but market potential. As a young, bright-eyed 75-year-old entrepreneur, Cleetus and Maud, 55, packed up their belongings and homestead on the western coast of the island of Deep Isla and set out for the far western shores of the Great Lake. Cleetus credits the move to a vision from Maud. When I asked Maud about her vision, she claims that one summer morning she heard a deep voice which spoke the words, "Where the lake weeps into the stone, there shall grow a city of barter, bone, and fish. The two who bring the first stall shall know the last word." Cleetus, ever the opportunist, took this as divine sanction for a mercantile empire. Maud later claimed she also saw a great brass scale floating in the mist above the location of the future main dock of Deep Port. One pan filled with coin, the other with fish bones, and behind it, a figure in robes made of stitched-together receipts. This convinced the couple to settle at the location. In the early years, there was little more than wind, wet stone, and the distant cries of water birds. Cleetus and Maud built their first structure out of driftwood, half-cured hides, and what Cleetus proudly referred to as repurposed boat fragments. This rudimentary stall, dubbed the Frontier General Store, sold whatever the lake and Maud's cunning hands could provide. Smoked fish, woven cattail baskets, pickled eel tongues, and occasionally items Cleetus claimed were antique pre-technasthi knickknackery. Though most scholars agree, these were likely just newer, broken pottery fragments. Regardless, adventurers, hunters, and early surveyors began to take note of the couple's unshakable presence, an odd but charming selection of goods. By the time the Western Expansion officially chartered the settlement of Deep Port, the Cleavuses were already a fixture. It is said that Cleetus negotiated the location of the first official settlement dock by standing in the exact muddy spot where Maud had seen her brass scale, refusing to move until the builders relented. He called it Cleavus Landing, though maps today refer to it simply as the main dock. Over time, the Cleavus name became synonymous with Deep Port trade. Today, at the time of this telling, in 1077 of the Common Time, the Deep Port General Store carries everything a new settler could need, but also handles a wide array of supplementary services, including banking and magic item identification. The store is a thriving hub of commerce and activity, a robust center so loved and patronized that it has managed to successfully survive and prosper, even in the shadow of the neighboring multinational corporations of Bob's and Pesto's. If you're ever in deep port and you're in need of goods, gear, or a warm smile, treat yourselves and stop in at the Deep Port General Store and say hello to Cleetus and Maud. That is all for this time. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for future lore guides, and thank you for listening. Goodbye for now.